It's quiet for a moment. You're sitting there, maybe scrolling on your phone, maybe just relaxing. And then you feel it. That subtle sensation that someone is watching you. You look up, and there they are. Your dog, completely still. Eyes locked onto yours, not blinking, not moving, just staring. No barking, no whining, no obvious reason, just that look. Most people laugh it off. They assume their dog wants food, or attention. Or maybe they think it's just one of those random things dogs do. But that kind of stare, especially when it's calm, focused, and almost intense, isn't random at all. In fact, animal behavior experts say this is one of the most meaningful forms of communication your dog has. Because when a dog looks at you like that, they're not just looking, they're trying to tell you something. And depending on the situation, it could be something you really shouldn't ignore. Most people think they already understand why dogs stare. The usual explanation is simple. Your dog wants something, food, attention. Maybe they're waiting for a walk. Maybe they're hoping you'll notice them and respond. And sometimes, that's true. Dogs are incredibly good at using eye contact to get what they want. Over time, they learn that staring at humans can trigger a reaction. So on the surface, it makes sense to assume it's just another learned behavior. But here's where things start to get a little more complicated. Because not all stares are the same. There's a difference between a quick glance toward the food bowl and a long, quiet, almost unbroken gaze that seems to linger for no obvious reason. No movement, no sound. No immediate need, just stillness and eye contact. So if your dog isn't asking for anything, why are they watching you like that? The answer has less to do with what your dog wants from you, and more to do with how they feel about you. To understand that kind of stare, we have to look at something deeper than behavior. We have to look at connection. In animal psychology, direct eye contact can mean many things depending on the context. In the wild, a fixed stare is often a sign of threat or dominance. It's something animals usually avoid unless they're prepared to confront each other. But dogs are different. Through thousands of years of living alongside humans, they've developed a completely unique way of using eye contact, one that doesn't signal danger, but connection. In fact, other researchers have found that when dogs form strong emotional bonds with their owners, they begin to use eye contact in a way that closely resembles human attachment behavior. Not to challenge you, but to reach you. When your dog looks at you calmly, without tension, without aggression, they're not trying to control the situation. They're checking in, looking for reassurance, looking for connection, looking for you. And in many cases, that quiet stare is one of the clearest signs that your dog sees you as more than just someone who feeds them. They see you as their safe place. But what makes this even more fascinating is what's happening inside the brain during that moment. That quiet moment, when your dog looks into your eyes, isn't just emotional, it's biological. Inside both your brain and your dog's brain, a powerful chemical begins to rise during that kind of interaction. It's called oxytocin, often referred to as the bonding hormone. It's the same chemical released between a parent and a child during moments of closeness. And incredibly, dogs have learned how to trigger that response in humans. Studies have shown that when a dog gazes at its owner and the owner looks back, oxytocin levels increase in both of them at the same time. But here's where it gets even more interesting. That increase doesn't just happen once, it creates a loop. The more your dog looks at you, the more oxytocin is released. The more oxytocin is released, the more connected you feel. And the more connected you feel, the more likely you are to respond with attention, touch, or affection, which then reinforces the behavior even further. It's a feedback loop between two different species, strengthening a bond in real time. And that means when your dog stares at you like that, they're not just observing you, they're actively deepening your connection. But that still doesn't explain one important detail. Why do some stares feel calm and loving, while others feel different? Not every stare means the same thing, and this is where paying attention really starts to matter. A relaxed, soft gaze, with loose body posture, slow blinking, maybe even a slight tail wag, usually signals trust and affection. It's your dog feeling safe, connected, and completely at ease with you. But a different kind of stare can carry a very different message. If your dog's body becomes stiff, if their eyes are wide and unblinking, if their ears shift back or forward with tension, that's not the same kind of connection. That's communication. Dogs don't have language the way we do. They rely on subtle signals, posture, eye contact, stillness, to express what they're feeling. And sometimes a fixed stare can be a sign of discomfort, anxiety, or even a warning that something isn't right. It might be a reaction to a new environment, a change in routine, or something that's making them feel uncertain. In some cases, it can even be one of the earliest signs that your dog is experiencing stress or physical discomfort, which is why context matters so much. Because understanding the difference between a loving gaze and a tense one can completely change how you respond in that moment. So the next time you catch your dog staring at you from across the room, or sitting quietly beside you, eyes fixed on yours, pause for a second before you look away. Because that moment might be more meaningful than it seems. Out of everything happening in their world, every sound, every smell, every distraction, they chose to focus on you, not randomly, not without reason, but because to them, you matter. In some moments, that stare is about connection, a quiet way of saying they feel safe with you. In others, it may be their way of asking for reassurance, or trying to tell you that something feels different. And without words, that look becomes one of the clearest ways they can communicate, so instead of ignoring it, or brushing it off, pay attention. Because sometimes the smallest behaviours carry the deepest meaning. And once you start to notice them, you begin to understand your dog in a completely different way. Now I'm curious, does your dog ever just sit and stare at you like this? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to understand what your dog is really thinking in moments like these, don't forget to subscribe, because what their behaviour reveals might surprise you even more.